Welcome to the American Dream in the Eyes of Immigrants podcast. I am your host, Heidy De La Cruz, and I am on the mission to change the narrative of immigration, one immigrant story at a time. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the American Dream in the Eyes of Immigrants podcast. I am your host, Heidy De La Cruz, and I have a very special guest with us today. I have Sun. And thank you so much for being here today and being willing to share your story and your journey. And if you could just introduce yourself, who you are, what you do, and then we'll get right into life growing up in South Korea.
Wonderful. Well, thanks for having me. I'm honored to be here. And my name is Sun Chung, the founder of Hungry Gopher. Originally, my YouTube channel focused on sharing delicious, simple Korean recipes, and I'm proud to say I've garnered over 8.7 million views. Over time, I realized that the powerful connection between diet, gut health, and overall wellness. So I also learned that the cultural can actually influence your wellness or sickness. So it's been a really fun journey.
Yeah.
Now Hungry Gopher is dedicated to helping people to achieve vibrant health through natural remedies and holistic approaches, especially those who struggle with like skin issues or recurring health issues, such as like digestive issues and recurring pain. So our flagship program is the Korean Gut Healing Formula, combines simple Korean dietary practices with modern insights into gut health. That's the thing I'm doing. And growing up in South Korea was fun and intimate and loud.
And loud, okay.
It was super fun because it was when I lived there. It was a time I was born and raised there, and the South Korea was going through a burst of economic growth. So I have such fun memory of like I'll be like, oh, one of my favorite things in the winter is doing ice skating, and they'll naturally freeze the Napa cabbage farm, and I was like living in like bustling city like Seoul, but they'll have still farm there. So in the winter, like I'll play, I'll do ice skating. It was like so fun growing in that, and it was loud because there was so much construction going on. It was a city of construction. They were building like 20, 30-story buildings like everywhere. So it was loud. And it was very intimate because it's highly dense. Like the population is very high. So my closest friend, when I was very little, lived right behind my house. Her house is right behind mine. So we had a shared wall. And literally when I wanted to go play with her, I'll just stand at the wall and call her name, like, hey, let's play, So that was very intimate.
Yeah.
So that was my childhood in South Korea.
So it sounds like you grew up when it was like up and coming, when they were building everything. So the construction and the loudness. Gotcha. And so can you share with us what events led you to move to the US?
The event in itself that I came to America to study English as a second language.
Okay.
When I was in college in Korea, I took a year off and came to Athens, Georgia, and I met an American guy there. So after I went back to Korea, we had a long distance relationship, and he came to Korea to teach. So finally, after like a couple of years, we were like, okay, we gotta make a decision. So so I moved to America to be with him. But I think like growing up, even when I was about 7 or 8, I kind of knew that I wanted to check this out, come to America. I just like, it's like, sounds so cool. They're like open and liberating, So I think I had that thought in me since I was young.
Yeah. So did you have any expectations of the US before coming?
Yeah, totally. Korea was very homogeneous. It's very unique how homogeneous it is. There's a lot more international people present now. But the first non-Korean, a white person I saw was when I was in high school. during my field trip. So it's funny that I married one, But so when I so when I was in Korea, like when I thought of America,
Mhm.
it's what's being portrayed in mass media
Yes.
and
Yep.
Hollywood blockbuster films and pop songs. Those are
Hmm.
very iconic cultural thing, and I just like loved it. I was like, oh my God, like what a open mind, outgoing, like inclusive. Like I just had this like glaze over my eyes of like what America
Mm.
is. And so I was just like yearning for that, like freedom. So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, that's why I asked that question because certain countries have access to Western media, but then certain countries didn't. So I've always wondered, like,
Um,
were you able to, like, have expectations, see movies and things like that? And how was that different, like when you first got here? Because like
oh,
TV and then movies, they can really glamorize and romanticize the United States, but when you're
yeah.
really here and living in the day to day, like it's completely different. So, can you tell us about cultural shock that you experienced or that you remember when you first moved?
Oh yeah. Culture shock was huge. The um one of the biggest one was that I I was like I said, South Korea is a very intimate setting, and it's very common that people walk
Yeah.
everywhere. And if
Yes.
you're female alone at night, no big deal. Like when I was a child, I just walked everywhere on my own. So here I was just thinking the same thing, I'm like, oh, I really enjoy like nice stroll. And so I was at UGA, I was staying at a dormitory. So I'm like, it's about like 10 p.m. It's like spring, the weather is nice, I'm just like,
Yeah.
gotta take a stroll. So every night I took a long stroll and I really enjoyed it. And one of the local ladies there, kindly asked me like, "Hey, how's it going? How's your stay?" And I told her like, I've been really enjoying my walk at night. And her eyes got like this big.
Yeah.
She was like, "You're crazy. Please stop doing that. Like, we have campus serial rapists going around. It's been like on newspaper everywhere." And she's like, "Please stop doing that. It's
Oh
not safe."
my
So
gosh.
that was quite a culture shock for me. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
So that was a culture shock for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I bet. Oh my gosh, that's so scary. Well, I'm glad everything was okay and you were able to enjoy the walks when you could. So how was visiting South Korea for the first time after moving to the US?
Well, I mean, for the first time, I was just still very excited because,
Mm,
you know, I I had a my family's still there.
okay.
My parents are still there, and I had the college buddies there. So I was like, okay, I'm trying it out here, but I also, like I enjoyed all the newness in the stage, but I was also very looking forward to going back to visit. So
Yeah.
the first time I went back, I was just like joyous, like, oh my God, you know how you have like homesick of like all these
Yeah.
street foods and like mother's cooking and just talking in your native tongue. So I was really excited, and it changed a lot since I've been more adapted to the culture and Americanized. But yeah, but the first visit, I was just very excited to go back.
Very excited. What do you miss from back home?
Um, Man, I this literally had me like I really contemplated on like should I just go back to Korea for street foods
Oh,
because street food is literally like everywhere in Korea. Like every corner of the street, there'll be a vendor of some sort.
wow.
But in the States, it was just like nothing, right? And I just don't get it. I was like, I'm s- I'm supposed to walk a few blocks and get some street food, but there's
Yeah.
zero. And I literally contemplated for like 5 years, like, should I just go back to Korea for street food? Like this is
Just for
killing
the street food. Yeah. Oh my goodness. What is something that you enjoy about living here that, you don't get back home?
a lot of things. Like
Mm,
I love especially California. I love Georgia too. That's where I landed and stayed for 5 years.
yeah.
But once I moved to California, I just fell in love. I'm just like,
Mm.
this is America I dreamed of. Like, I just like, I'm right here, baby. Like, it's just like nature. It's so beautiful from the ocean to the mountains and the desert. And the
Yeah.
culture is it's warm and embracing. And you're not from here, and people are more like curious than being scared.
Oh, that's
And
good.
people are just like so relaxed. Um,
Okay.
it's less dense, so there's a lot more room to like breathe and just be you. And I joke about it a lot. I'm like, you can have three eyeballs in LA and nobody will look at you. They just
Mm,
don't care. They just like, oh, that's just you, right? So I
yeah.
love that culture. Like you just be you and you're welcome. So I really love that about American. Like,
Did
yeah.
you have like an adaptation period moving from Georgia to California? Like, did you have like any cultural shock from there? Because I know, like, just the United States, I feel like each state is like a different world. It could be so different. So, did you have like to like adapt a little bit, or did you experience any culture shock when you first moved to California, or not really?
Well, it is quite different. I didn't have the knowledge like you said, like when I moved here, I didn't know how each state is almost like each country.
Yeah.
It's got distinctive characteristics. It's
Hmm.
not one is better or
Yeah.
worse. It's just different, because it's such a big country with different regional, the traditions. And I was pretty shocked when I was in Georgia how, like, although they're very warm and welcome and generous, like sudden, hospitality, they really have that. But I was really shocked how conservative their views could be.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, like my father is like super conservative
Hmm.
in the like just like man and woman difference and all that. And
Yep.
he's a very traditional Korean man that way. And when I first came to Georgia, I'm like, I think this is just as conservative or more. So why am I here again? So,
It's like I thought I was leaving this.
right. So that was a culture shock. I was like, wow, it's so different from how I imagined. And
Yeah.
yeah, but yeah, so that was a culture shock.
Hi, Heidi here. Thank you so much for listening and supporting my podcast, but most importantly, the mission. If you would like to further support this podcast, there are a few ways you can do that. You can sign up for the newsletter. You'll receive the episodes straight to your inbox every time they drop. The link is in the show notes and the show description. You can subscribe to the podcast YouTube channel. And lastly, you can donate money. That link is also in the show notes and show description. If you would like to sponsor an episode or promote your business on this show, send me an email at Heidi@HeidiDelacruz.com. Thank you and enjoy the rest of the episode. Okay. And so you're in California enjoying, not thinking of like moving anywhere else. You're just enjoying your time in California right now.
I do. I do. I have been living in California I've been here a while, almost 20 years. So
20 years.
I
Nice.
I've been traveling a lot of places, but this like I think we're kind of in love. Like I love the place, and it's becoming more and more international. And it's just I just love about it. I recently, well, about 6 years ago, I moved to like black neighborhood, and I didn't know I'm Asian and my husband being white. We were just like, I don't know, are we going to be welcome?
Yeah.
But it's like the warmest welcoming place I've ever lived in the States.
Oh,
That
nice.
people are just so warm and like, hey, where are you from? It's so good to see like a different ethnic group here, and they're saying hello, and they're like, hey, asking how are you doing, and they're waving hands at you. I just like, wow, I've never felt more welcomed. So I just have a deep appreciation of that. So like
Yeah.
I'm like a returning in what they have given me. Like I am doing the same thing. Like, hey, it's just yeah. So like I as you can tell, I'm a big fan of California. So like yeah, I
Yes.
love it here. I don't have any plan to move out of here. I really love it here.
And how often are you able to visit South Korea now?
I used to go every other year. I was very fortunate to do that. But
Wow, yeah.
I had some personal health issues, and with the quarantine and why not. And
Hmm.
yeah, about every 5 years now. But I'm picking it back up to like every other year because my parents are getting older, and I want to make
Yeah.
sure that I see them often enough. So yeah.
Yeah. So I was thinking about that. Like, have they thought about moving to the United States, or they're just fine?
Oh, they're just fine, and they're just fine, and I'm fine too. I'm just gonna be frank. It's honestly, it's
That's
not
funny.
the value that I have. Um, one of the reasons I moved over here is like my mother. I really love her.
Yeah.
I'm so grateful for her. But Korean mother can be very, very, very protective.
Mm.
And in their point of view, like her point of view, I'm never older than 3. Like I gotta like
Oh,
a
yes.
it's good until you experience it. If you haven't experienced
No,
it, you might think
I
that
know exactly what you mean. I know
oh,
exactly
yeah.
what you mean. Yes.
She wrote a birthday card and sent it to me. And I kept it because it cracked me up. And like I'm reading this, I'm like, oh my God, I'm 5 year old. She's like, please put sunblock on your face when you go to the beach.
Oh my God.
Please make sure you're drinking enough water. Like I'm not joking. This is like line by line.
Yeah.
And it's endearing when I gain the perspective and keep a little distance. But when you're in it, I'm just like,
Yeah. It's like
I'm,
you feel like you're being smothered. I know. Hmm.
yeah. So thank God for Pacific Ocean between us. I think that's the wonder of the good relationship.
Oh, that's funny. Well, I'm glad you're able to visit frequently because a lot of my guests, which is why I asked, it can take a while, many years for people to be able to visit back home, depending on the circumstances and things like that. But I'm glad you were
That's
able
true.
to, visit frequently and things like that. So let's get into your YouTube channel. So how did this come about? And why do you feel it's important to share the message that you're sharing on your channel?
Great question. So it started out of desperation because I was
Oh,
working in the movie industry for about 10 years. Then the company I worked for went bankrupt.
mm,
So I had a shock, like, oh my God, what's happening? But a lot of people experience that these days because that's how the economy is. So after like spending 6 months in my own sorrow on the couch, I was like, okay, I'm gonna do something about it. I'm gonna do something that I can do with the talents that I have,
yeah.
with the skill sets. So I started the YouTube channel simply sharing, what I know the best and like what I love a lot, which is food and cooking, especially Korean food. So I started sharing like simple, easy kimchi recipes and why not, and it started getting really good feedback. Um, so and my goal then focusing on simple easy recipes so people can enjoy cooking and keep their health, stay healthy. But over time it has evolved because I had to use steroids for 3 decades for chronic skin problems that I had, and it stopped working. So being that it was the strongest medicine, that there was no other options. So I started really digging it. I've done a lot of research for about 10 years now, and I learned that body is designed to heal itself if you set the
Yes.
environment correctly.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so like that is my passion, to empower people to learn all these tools and with like ancient wisdom, best from the East and the best from the West, this modern science that proves in many different ways that like you can really, there's so much healing power within you. If you
Yeah.
if you set the right environment for yourself, and you got so much power, you don't have to be helpless because genes don't determine your health. You do determine how to express, how your genes express health or not expressing health. So that's been a fun journey, and I really enjoy talking to talking to my students, whether it's who's taking kimchi course or just one-on-one coaching, that
Mm-hmm.
they're like, wow, like I just feel so much better about myself. I didn't even know there's a connection between food or emotions to my health
Yes.
issues. And one of the biggest findings I've had past 6 years or so, and is how culture that you're from, without you knowing it, can make you really sick
Mm.
or well. And that's been a very fascinating thing for me because I with a very healthy eating, clean diet, um, I I collapsed in the bathroom about 5 years ago, and I had vertigo and really just very tired, like exhausted from like walking from downstairs to upstairs. I couldn't even do that. I
Yeah.
was bedridden for 6 months, and so I went to see all kinds of doctors, both east and west, and there was no diagnosis. My blood work looked perfect.
Mm.
I've been recovering, and very slowly but surely I'm about 80% recovered. But so 80% well, but so I was like, what's missing here? And that's when I found out culture can make you really sick without even you knowing it. So
Yeah.
that's yeah. So I'm really passionate about sharing the information and give simple practical tools so you can really implement in your daily lives and just own your life. It's like
Yeah.
your happiness is your right and your health is your right. So
Yep.
yeah, so that's my passion.
So, what piece of advice or a health tip could you give the audience today?
That's a good one. I would, I think the biggest one this day and age that we suffer is we give very little time and chance to rest. I think we have such little space to be still for like 3 minutes.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So I have that in me because it's something you learned growing up that Korea is really go culture. It's
Oh,
like
wow.
they increased their GPT like 300 times in the course of like 60 years. So it was literally like pebble after word, and it became like one of the like literally top 10, 20 like economy power in the short period of time.
Yeah.
So it was great that like, so that's powerful, but it also has the negative side of it. If you
Mm-hmm.
do too much of it, you just go all the
At
time.
what cost? Yeah.
Yeah, then so like I see that in American culture as well. And culture, so I would think the first thing I would recommend is like approve yourself and give yourself time to like just rest even for 3 minutes, like not moving from phone to like computer, just like doing all that.
Mm-hmm.
Just breathe deeply for 3minutes and see if you feel any better. Just even notice that how you feel and how your body tenses up, and just take a little stroll. And I worked 60 hours a week non-stopping for several years, and it's eventually you'll feel it. It'll catch up
Yeah.
with you. It doesn't go anywhere. So I would really say that like, okay, what is the 3 minute thing that I can today purely for my wellness? Is it like taking a little walk or breathing, like whatever it is, or drinking a glass of water? Like that, yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's the simplest you can do now.
Yeah.
And if you
No,
have
thank you for
extra
that.
time,
Yeah,
oh
it's so
yeah,
true
my pleasure.
because if you don't rest your body will force you to rest. Like it will, like
Exactly.
you said, it will catch up to you. And rest is something that I've and implemented intentionally this year because like we
Yes.
were before we started recording, I had mentioned that I, have the 9 to 5, I do this podcast and I have the business. And
Right.
all of that in my family, all of that takes a lot of time and energy out of me, right? And it's like if I'm putting so much energy to one thing and another thing, then I'm not putting as much energy to another thing. But then it's also like, I've been burnt out because of it. And so, like, now my schedule, I have specific days where I rest. It's like, okay, I'm not going to do anything for the business, not going to do anything for the podcast.
That's
Like
amazing.
obviously the weekends I no work, but it's just like I have at least one day where I'm like not doing anything for either, no work, no business, just resting, because
That's
I've been
awesome.
burnt out, and so I felt it, and it's
Mm,
just like our bodies can only take so much, and we only have one, and we have to take care of it.
you're right. That's pretty beautiful. I'm glad you mentioned that. That's really awesome. Like it's that's wonderful. Like I see that it's something I learned. I've been unlearning. Like I am worthy of taking a little rest because when I was like
Yes.
resting, it just culturally like, oh, you're being lazy, right?
Yeah,
So
yes,
I had this
yes.
shame thing about
Mhm.
just resting, and
Yes.
there's nothing's wrong with it. It's actually very honorable. You're honoring your body
Hmm.
to your mind to rest, and you can show up there for the your loved ones because you feel good
Yes.
about yourself. Then you're
Yep.
like, okay, so it's a and culturally we don't really value that as much because
Mm-mm.
we really, we capitalize on like what's wrong about you rather than what's right about you.
Yeah.
So you constantly think you're lacking something, but you don't lack anything. You're great
Hmm.
as you are. You are fine as you are. You're born beautifully,
There
So
was there
yeah.
was a podcast episode that I had listened, and they were talking about rest, the same thing. And then I think it was the guest, they were saying that we feel as a society that we have to earn rest. So it's like,
Yeah.
oh, I have to do, my to-do list, and then I can rest. Like we have to
Right.
earn it. And it's like, no, we need rest to be energized to then be able, to do what we have to do. And like you said, like culturally, it's just that go go go, the hustle mentality that I've been seeing lately, and the hyper entrepreneurship, and the more you do, the more valuable you are, or the more you're worth. And it's like we're gonna like take ourselves to the ground, like we're gonna burn ourselves out and not be
Yeah.
able to produce or be as productive as we can be because we're not resting.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, that's a really valid point. I'm so happy that you're at the point you realize that I think that's really helpful. I think the biggest one, yeah, it's you're I think culturally we're very confused with worthiness,
Mm,
and then you're like you said, you have to earn to rest, right?
mhm.
But I mean, which animals do that? My husband has been feeding these birds. They're gorgeous, They're like, ooh, these house finches, and I doubt that when they're eating or resting, like, did I earn my right to
Yeah.
rest today? Did
Exactly.
I earn my right to be fed?
Yeah.
I doubt that. Like we we are born like one of my mentors is Gabor Mate that he's talking about. It's when we are born, we the urge of like Homo sapien about 150,000 years of design. When we are born, we have certain expectation biologically
Yep.
and emotionally. You expect to be loved. You expect to be your lung is theirs. The oxygen is going to come in and you breathe. So all these things, and so we are born so beautifully, and in a way, with all the good intention, we are overcompensating to like okay, what's wrong with you? You gotta be prettier, you gotta make more money, and you gotta be larger and bigger. And yes, that's great, but like we gotta have like a sweet spot.
Yeah.
And once you pass the sweet spot, it's like, well, we are crashing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I I had my lesson, and I'm continuing to learning that like yeah, just worthiness and what you achieved has nothing to do with it. You are worthy as you are complete, and that is something I was never taught.
Yeah.
And I, and when someone said like nothing's wrong with you, I'm like, really? Nothing's wrong with me? Nothing? I mean, all my life I thought there was something wrong. I'm getting older, right? So I got wrinkles. I thought wrinkles are wrong, you know? And I got this imperfect skin, like right here, little like. I thought that's wrong. I was told it's wrong. I'm like, nothing's wrong. I'm
Mm.
human,
Yes.
and I'm just beautiful as I am, and you're beautiful as you are. We're all
Thank
different.
you.
Like
Yeah.
you're welcome. My
Love
pleasure.
that.
So I I think we need more of the talk of like you are fine as you are. you're,
Yes.
you're it's. then we wouldn't. I believe that's one of the core things that drive us to run so fast without even realizing that we're really burning our own tail, So I think it's one of those things we can cultivate as, as individual, as culture, that like you're fine.
Yeah.
You're nothing's wrong with you. Like I just love you as you are. And you're great. Like don't change, please. Like
Yes, exactly. Oh
yeah.
my goodness, son, this has been such a beautiful conversation. Thank you so much for coming on and being willing to share your story. And um, one, how can people connect with you? And I will definitely include your link to your channel on the show notes in the show description. But how can people connect with you and follow you?
Yeah, if you go to hungrygopher.com, that's the website. Ooh. You can you find a bunch of goodies there. You can download top 3 simple Korean recipes to heal your gut and get clear skin and optimize your health. Or you can go to YouTube channel. I have more than 200 videos, I believe. So there are a lot there, and you can dig in. And I also, if you have any recurring health issues, especially skin problems or gut issues like digestive problems, I offer free one-on-one assessment session. So that's on the homepage of the website at hungrygopher.com. So you can connect me that way. And yeah, so you leave a comment on YouTube, or yeah, that'll be great. I love talking to people.
Awesome. I will include all your links. And the very last question that I like to ask my guests and to wrap up the show is, what does the American dream mean to you?
It changed a lot. When I first came here, just like any immigrant, I was the freedom like sounded so sweet, and I have that, and it was so important to establish just the security wise, because I just didn't. I came here with basically nothing, and I'm very grateful at where I am. But at this juncture, I with my health issues that I've been overcoming, and I really learned that I think this is a time, like in personal level, and I think in society level, that like American dream needs to be maybe re-examined, because the bigger and the better mentality, I think we achieved that, and I think we are getting too bigger and too better, that we are actually, it became like more self-destructive than helping. So I think we kind of scale back a little bit, not to have, like, having dream is wonderful, but really question, like, okay, what is American dream? So for me now is like I I offer what I have, and you know and implement the beautiful like Korean culture that I brought here, and the American culture that I learned, California culture, and I hybrid that, and so offer my view. That way, I empower the people who feel that they don't belong anywhere. Like often whether immigrants, even the ones who are born and raised here, that's one of the big things, that people don't feel like they belong, and you belong. We all belong here. That you're global citizen. You belong here, anywhere you are, and so that's my American dream. So expand that belongingness, and you're here, and we can be here, and we can help each other, and that way we can heal as individual and heal as society. So that's my American dream.
That's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for coming on. And just thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you so much for having me. It was so much fun, Heidi.